Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Porter from Roll for New GM, and today I'm going to talk about three and a half apps or programs to kind of get you started in your new GM journey. This is all completely free. There are options to, further open up features and everything, but if you're just getting started, you're still kind of learning everything. I think this is kind of the holy trinity of programs that you really need. I think everything else is kind of extra, and as you learn and progress and move on, you'll start building up and everything. And that's going to be another video. Right now, we're talking about for free. I'm also going to do a video, kind of like a $70 if you want to put $70 into this, the programs that you should use. But right now, let's stick for free. Let's stick to, if you're just starting out, kind of the three basic things that I think that you should use. I haven't posted for a while. I saw you guys started checking out the Flowscape video. I'm glad that you guys like that. It's just been a busy month. I'm personally in the midst of transferring a bunch of stuff, D&D wise, and in real life we're doing a lot. So it's been a busy month. But I'm sitting down, getting ready to do this video, and I hope you guys enjoy. So starting off with the very first thing I think you need to use, which is for free, and we're going to switch over, and that's Roll20. Roll20.net is kind of the poster child for playing D&D online. A lot of people use it, a lot of professionals still use it. I started off with it. I'm in the midst of kind of transferring away from it, but it's just because there are some features and different things that are a little bit simpler in other programs. But if you're just starting out, you're just kind of getting into it, I think this is a great place to start. You can start off for free. There are a couple of different options if you want to pay. So I started off for free after a couple of months. I thought the lighting feature was really cool, and it was like $5 a month. I think it was like $4.99. So I'm like, okay, I can justify $4.99 a month to add a really cool feature for my players. So as you can see here, I just kind of have a basic starter screen. If they get in here before I do, they kind of hang out in this tavern. I added some animated effects, which is I plan on doing for another video because it can be kind of a pain in the butt. So basically what I did was I took MP4 files, made them into GIFs, scaled them down so they'd fit in Roll20, and that's how I got the animated effects for the flames and stuff. But if you're just starting and you get in Roll20, I mean, you can go back and forth, drag your players between scenes and everything. I think it's a pretty good place, pretty simple to start. You have your characters, you have your journal, you have quests, everything that you can add here, and of course you can add show to players. You can archive it. So it's a good place to start. You just upload your maps and you're good to go. You kind of drop everybody into place, and it's good. It has three basic layers. You have your map or your background. You have your objects and tokens, which is your players. Anything else you want to add, and then you have a GM overlay, which is where you can add little notes that only you can see as the GM. I use it quite a bit in dungeons and stuff. If I have a trap or if I have a secret door or something, you can add a little note to yourself that only you can see. You have your drawing tool. This is really useful for if you have somebody who uses an area of effect skill. So if they cast something that's 20 by 20, you can measure it out. You can then grab it and drag it where you need to put it, and the other players will be able to see that. And so I don't know, if you have a druid that casts that spike growth thing, you can mark it out pretty easy. You can also use alt to draw circles. You can snap it to the grid. You have freehand, polygon line, text, and a lot of these I use on like the GM layer. So like with the text, I'll go into the GM layer, I'll add a note that only I can see, and it's pretty awesome. As you can see here, I have some stuff. It looks like it's highlighted all I did was take the polygon line tool and I zoomed in and traced it around. And I have these throughout my world to signify um, player buildings, player businesses. This statue was erected by a player, so I kind of highlighted that, and then I have stuff in their notes and everything about it. Moving down to you just have a zoom, which you can also do with your mouse holding down control. It's a little wobbly, but it's free. Your snaps tool, you can snap stuff, no snapping, and really this just helps with your grid, keeping everything so it stays in line. Fog of War kind of reveal hide, not Fog of War on free, but you can manually hide areas, and you can use the polygon reveal to reveal areas. So if they're going into a dungeon, it's completely dark, you can manually highlight a hallway or a room and gradually unlock it as they progress, so they don't just walk into the dungeon and see the whole map. And with the $4.99, which is the reason that I did the $4.99 subscription, was so I could get the lighting, and then you can go into your player icons and actually change their vision. You can do night vision. You can limit it if they emit light. So if they're walking in with a torch, you can actually give them a torch, which is pretty cool. So I justified that as the $4.99 subscription for that, and it was really cool for my players. They really enjoyed it. Underneath that, you have your encounter. You can add, edit, do everything you need. I added this. If you go here, you can add a custom label, and so I added a round. So every time that they cycle through, you go to a next round and it goes up by 1. Just a little thing to help keep track of everything. If we are in the midst of a battle, let's say it's already round 5, and the paladin casts bless or something. If there's a lot going on, I'll add in a bless to the turn order. That way we can kind of keep track of it in that. So all you would do is go to the little settings, add, bless, round calculation, whoops. Just add 1. So every time that it cycles through, it just adds 1 to it, and then add it. And then I added 2 of them. You can make that 1, drag it up here, or wherever you're at. So if you're in round 5 or 4, I guess, and you get to, the paladin, he casts bless. Now you're on your first round of bless. Going up to underneath that, you have all your die. So you can roll a d20, 2d20, everything that you need right here. And then, of course, on this side, you have your chat, which is where you see your rolls and everything. You have the asset store, which is a really nice place to go for anything. You can upload your own images, and they have the premium assets. You can go here. They have a bunch of free ones. Another cool thing that I don't know if a lot of people realize, but Roll20 is connected to Google or somehow they're able to pull assets. So if I wanted to find an asset for a wolf, I just search it up here. You can see they have premium assets, which are, I can't use those. I'm not premium. But if I scroll down, they have from the web, powered by Google. So you can actually take these and drag and drop them right in. That's something that I didn't realize for a long time. I was manually going to Google, downloading the images, uploading them into my library, and it just made for a tedious chore. But this is really nice if you're in the midst of battle and you're, looking for some asset, or you want, let's say you have a giant that kind of comes out of a cave, you can actually look up a giant really quick. So, it's not perfect. You're not going to get exactly what you're looking for. But if you're in a bind and you need something really quick, just pull this up. If you needed a ship, I keep switching back and forth. If you needed a ship, you can just search in ship, and you might have to play with it a little bit so a ship doesn't come out. Oh, ship's So there you go. If you needed a little scooter or something, there you go. So that's a really powerful tool. If you don't know about Roll20 being connected to Google, I would definitely suggest utilizing that. You have your jukebox. You have your compendium that has everything inside of it. Macros, which are nice. You can add different macros. So I have a chest here, a macro that rolls a loot table. And if you need help with this, there are, you just throw it into Google, it pops up with the codes and everything. But so like here, I have a chest 3. I just kind of threw some stuff in it because I was kind of testing it. So you have a grappling hook, you have a cloth, scraps, arrows, and then this is all the macro is. It's a lot of brackets, a lot of 1 chest equals 3, the name of it, and then you can actually test the macro. And if you come over here, it'll say blah blah crossbow bolts. So I found crossbow bolts. That's something I was just getting into before I personally made a switch to another program, which I'll get into. But that can also be another powerful thing. I've seen a lot of GMs that actually add in the DM rollable tables for magic items, for weather effects, stuff like that, and they just have it all right there. And I'm sure if you go to Google and you type in, Roll20 rollable table codes, there's going to be a ton of them. So that's a really cool feature. So as far as Roll20 goes, this is kind of your base. This is what you need. This is your tabletop, your VTT. This is your board. This is the very basic thing of what you need. They do have it so your players can have the character sheets in this. However, for the next tool that I want to talk about, we're going to kind of bypass this because if you're just starting out, it can be pretty tricky, not only creating a character, but learning how to use it, learning what abilities it has, how many prepared spells you can have. There's a lot of little things that you can forget about. So something that we're going to jump into right away is for the number 2 thing that I think you absolutely need to have, another free program, is D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond, you probably heard, this is the holy grail of Dungeons and Dragons. So if you go to dndbeyond.com, you can create an account. You can have your characters, you can have campaigns, the encounters, which is still in beta. I've used it a couple of times. It is still in beta. It's still a little fudgy, but it's a great, it adds a calculator. So if you have 3 level 3 player characters, you can kind of gauge your monsters based on the difficulty rating, and so it'll be really nice once it's completely finished. You have my homebrew collection, homebrew creations, and my dice. So the homebrew pages of this is really awesome. If you go, you can create spells, you can create custom monsters, magic items. You can browse magic items. Now, the thing is, if you're going to be on a free subscription base for D&D Beyond, you can't actually manually add these into your campaign for your players to use. But you can kind of look through some of them, get an idea of what you want, and you can go to your homebrew creations and you can actually add in and create your own things. So just a couple of items that I messed with creating. So like bandages, I really wanted my players to create a bandage that had a little bit of a different stats from the that healing ointment. I added in some rings that added plus to hit, and then a signet ring for organization that's in my campaign. And then these you can insert into your campaign because they're your creations. You can put them in even on a free subscription. So another powerful tool that if you see something that you really like in the homebrews, you can go back, create it yourself, and add it in. The big thing about D&D Beyond is the character sheets. So you can see I have my main character that I play in another buddy's campaign, and I was messing around with a kind of an odd little halfling fighter, which is a good place to kind of mess around and kind of mold characters just to see kind of how they would work. So if we click on Relkin, I'll come up with my character sheet. And the nice thing is it factors in everything for me, so I don't have to really keep track of everything. So you can see I have a +3 strength modifier. And then if you go to my weapons, you can automatically see my hit DC. So my proficiency bonus plus my strength, I have a +6 to hit. You can go through and filter all of them. So if it's your turn and you're just learning, you want to kind of know what you can do as you're kind of like, oh my god, look at all these things. You can go to your attack. You can use an action. You could use a bonus action. There's reactions. And you can kind of filter it through. So if you're kind of overwhelmed and you're kind of still figuring it out, it kind of breaks it down nice for you. It tells you how many spell slots you have. It lets you know how many prepared spells you can have. If you try to add too many, it won't let you add any more. So if I go to known spells, you can see that if I try to prepare it, I can't. If I unprepare Bless, then I can prepare another spell. So that's another cool little thing that it keeps track of for you. All your equipment, you can choose what you equip and what you don't. Your features and traits, so it just adds everything in for you. And during the character creation process, if you go to the builder, this is what it's going to look like when you make a character. So you start with your race, your class, you go to your abilities. So it shows you everything. You just go down step by step. It makes it super easy for you, super easy for your players, and it leads a lot to not having errors, not having a lot of questions. What's my hit die? How many things can I have prepared? What's my subclass? It has everything laid out for you. You just follow it all the way down. And then when you level up, you'll actually see a blue little exclamation point. It'll say, hey, you've unlocked something new. You unlock it, and then there it is. And it's right into your character sheet. So how can you use D&D Beyond with Roll20? You can just play on Roll20. You can play with the character sheets that are on this. It is possible. But if you're looking for, making your life a little bit easier, D&D Beyond, how do you do that? Beyond 20 is a browser extension that you can get for Chrome and Firefox. I know for sure. I'm not 100% sure on like Microsoft Edge and Internet Explorer and stuff. I'm sure that you can. With this browser extension, if you go over here and you roll your hit die, you're going to see that it rolled a 10 plus your 6, so you rolled a 16. It goes straight over to your Roll20. If you want them to roll, they walk into a tavern, they lie about who they are to try to get a discount on a room. I don't know. Roll deception. You just go over here, click your little die, and you can see when you hover over it, it comes up with a little icon, and that's what you're going to want to click. Rolls your die. Go back over to Roll20, and it's set up perfectly. So this is just kind of, it's not a requirement, but I absolutely would recommend you using D&D Beyond. It is super easy, makes everybody's life a lot easier. You can just click and you're good to go. Plus you get the cool little, you can turn on your 3D dice. So I use a one-handed, so I would do 4, and everything's good to go. With the extension, it will take, so like you have to add it to your browser, of course, and then you will have to, not that one, you will have to configure some of the options. So there are some things, if you want to whisper rolls to the DM, I have it set to never. Quick rolls, use the digital dice, which I love. I think it's a cool little thing. You can auto roll your damage. As just you have to go through, make sure that you have everything that you want. And then once you do, it has Discord integration, which is really cool. Right now I have it select the VTT tab or game. I have it to only Roll20 because we were only using Roll20. And save. So start with Roll20. Get your characters and everything on D&D Beyond. Get your Beyond 20 extension, and that's basically it. You're good to go. You can use your D&D Beyond page, have this open in another tab or another window if you're dual monitor. You can have one open on each screen, which is super awesome, and it just makes it a whole lot smoother, a lot nicer, and I just think that now I can't live without it. If I had to go back to the Roll20 character sheets, I would go insane because it is so easy and so nice to use D&D Beyond. Like if you're GMing, which is the whole point of this channel, you have your campaign, you add the player characters to it. As you can see, we have quite a bit of players. I have 2 different groups that are adventuring through the same world, which makes it super interesting. And then this is something that I do. D&D Beyond's kind of cool to add the notes, so you can see kind of what's going on in the world. So I love stats. I'm a big NFL football fan. I played a lot of sports in my life. I love stats. I love the NBA. I love keeping track of everything. So this is kind of my stat sheet. So I have everything when the campaign was created, when each player joined, if they joined a group, a public group, if they're in, some secret society, I won't add that. I have when they gained a level. So I just have a whole bunch of information that I like to keep. We call it the Hall of Records, and it's kind of cool to just go back and look at on. So in November, I created the campaign. I started playing a couple months before that, so it's been a fun kind of 6-7 months of learning to GM, and I think this is something that's kind of fun to utilize. So you have your Roll20, you have your D&D Beyond, and you have your Beyond 20. The Beyond 20 I didn't really count because it's an extension of D&D Beyond. So the third thing that I think is crucial for your free introduction to DMing is Incarnate. I know there are a lot of map making programs and websites out there that are completely free. I think Incarnate, for the money, for free, is your best option, personally. If you have a different map maker and you love that, that's great. Use it and create some cool stuff. I just happen to think that Incarnate for free is probably the best website out there. You have everything saved online. You can download all of it. You can create anything from cities to entire world maps to battle maps, and they have a lot of cool different templates and designs that you guys can use, different assets, and even stuff like this I've been promising to make a video on. I found this in the feed. Somebody created a really cool kind of board up on a wall. So I kind of recreated it, kind of added in some of my own touches, And what do I do? What I do for like quests and stuff is I'll make a wanted poster. I'll add, a little scroll that says missing, ale drinking competitions. I have stuff for sale, different little uh, pages and everything that I then pin to the board. So if we go back here, we can go to, I have one for each group. I just separated them to orange and green. I don't know why. Could be group one, group two. So if we go to the orange community board, you can see that they ripped this one down. So I hid it in the GM layer. So if we go here, I can grab it and move it around. So the map and background is the board. And then if we go to the objects and tokens, we have these little rusty nails that I thought looked all right. And then we have these things that I made, and I pin them up here. And so if they go into a town, they're like, we want to go see what's on the community board. I can pull this up. They can look at it, and they're like, you know what, that talent competition, I think I could dance pretty good. I think I could give Star-Lord a run for his money. So I'd click it. I would send it to the GM layer, so only I could see it and I could reference it. And then in our Discord or in Roll20 or wherever we happen to be communicating, I will send them the PNG file from my computer to them so they can kind of see it. If it's easier for you to kind of switch back and forth between the scenes, you can do that as well. But with Incarnate, just the variety of different things that you can do, like I said, from the world map, the city maps, the battle maps, and then even cool little design elements like these scrolls, wanted posters, all these little tickets for the competitions. I just think are for free. I mean, it's second to none, I think. So these are the kind of holy trinity of programs, websites that I think any new GM can kind of utilize right away. There's a lot of great tutorials out there on YouTube and Google. So if you're looking at Incarnate and you're like, that looks like, there's a lot of work that's gone on here. There's a lot of great tutorials that kind of show you how to place multiple trees at once. So you're not placing each one of these individually. Creating different battle maps, creating world maps. There's a ton of great stuff that you can do here. So this is free. Beyond 20 is free. D&D Beyond is free. And Roll20 is free. All of these have options to continue paying and subscribing for more features, which I think are also great. So for my free intro GM video, I think these are the 3 things that you should look into. So if you guys have any questions, or if you guys want some links to some great tutorials, let me know in the comments down below. I'm glad to be back doing videos. It's like I said, it's been a crazy month. So I think next week is going to be my $70 starter pack. If you have a little bit of cash that you want to put into D&D, it's about the cost of 2 books. So if you want to spend $70 on different tools to create, a kind of more, I don't want to say more in depth, because you can do a lot of great stuff on these free programs, but I guess ease of use and accessibility is probably the main difference that you're going to get. So if you're new, please subscribe. It means a lot to me, and I will see you guys next week again, now that I'm back, and we will do my $70 starter pack. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.